exactly where I thought you would be.
Yeah, and that I
So
totally suck.
you're gonna feel like you totally suck, but
Right.
it's not about that yet. It's a
Yeah, yeah.
lot of things that are going to be rapid improvement that will get you advanced up the board pretty quickly, and then it gets hard.
Okay.
Okay, so it's just you don't know what you don't know yet,
Hmm.
and you could tell by looking at just the pairings originally. So you see the grid in front of you for a quick pairing
Um,
on Leap Chess.
sorry, I'm in the what's it called? I'm in the class you set up. Yes,
Oh,
the
you're in
quick
there
pairings.
already.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
speeding ahead. Cool. All right,
Well,
excellent.
I
I'll
just
set
saw
the
a
speed.
little notification that said no, but tell me about the
Yeah.
pairings. I want to know what these mean.
So the first number is the minutes to start the game, and then the second number is the number of seconds added per move.
Ah.
So if you look at 3 plus 2, that's
Hmm.
3 minutes for the full game plus 2 seconds per move,
Okay.
and that's each player. So I don't want you in bullet or blitz. Those
Right.
are cancerous. Those are sugar candies for people who just don't really care, aren't really practicing and learning. Those are for people who already want to play and just want to just get games in. And I play basically in that area. But what is good for you is probably the 10-5 or the 15-10.
Okay.
You can
Rapid.
play longer if you want to, but you're going to be there for an hour or more if you play those. So I think stick to 10-5 and 15-10, and
Good.
then you have plenty of time to take your time. So Lichess allows studies. You're probably already in studies, right? And I made something called Pete's class,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to find that, and now I can't find it. What did I do? What did I do? All right, I'm just gonna keep searching for it. There it is. All right, I must have made it public or private or something. I don't know. Anyway, so let me see if I'm pressing buttons. Are you seeing the board moving?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. So this is how we learn chess. This is how we have a classroom together. So what I've done is I've imported your game, and I wanted to talk about some of the good things you're doing and some of the bad things you're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
So your opponent opened with the move c4. You're probably not familiar with chess notation, right?
I understand. Like, I see the C and I see the four, but I would never be able to
Exactly.
parse that instantaneously.
No, and you won't, but it is something that people will learn over time. It will
Yeah.
sink in eventually, especially if you do like I do and record by hand, which is how I play tournament games in person live over the board. So we actually have to write them by rule. You have to keep score, and so that's how it got ingrained in my head. But eventually, you'll get like some sort of relationship with these names.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, your opponent plays c4, which is, as we know, explosive. So you play c5, and this is already a good instinct, okay? When you are pushing your pawns toward the center of the board, this is generally a good thing. And it's not so much about, and by the way, you can see my arrows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this C pawn is considered, well, I consider it to be a center pawn. This is a good idea to start games with center pawns. But it is quickly after that and see how it controls the center of the board.
Okay.
We want to live in the opening in the center of the board here, in the middle.
Yep.
Why? Because it's a grand central station for pieces and pawns. Most of chess pieces move in lines, and a lot of lines run through a center on a grid, right? You can draw lines diagonal to diagonal, and it goes through the center of the board, something like this,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or they go across the middle. And there are a lot fewer lines that lead to corners. It's just harder to get to corners. So
Okay.
in general, we want to operate in the center of the board because we want to be able to take over the main traffic ways, the main airport, or whatever transportation metaphor you like, to get our pieces in and around the board. In chess, unlike Risk, this is a game of attrition. Your material only goes down
Mm-hmm.
over time. In Risk, your material goes up.
Yeah.
So here, what we're trying to do is make the most of what we have. You start with 16 guys. and you want to make them work as hard as possible. And what ends up happening is one side will not be able to use their pieces effectively, and the other side will. And one of the biggest things to do that is what we call space. And space is like the area behind your pawns. Like, it is kind of like your territory that you've marked off and staked for your own self. Okay? So to step through the game a little bit, white brings out a piece, you push a pawn. Now here's a first kind of weakening move. It's not bad necessarily in itself, but in Risk you have a certain number of troops. That's your resource, right? You have a generation, and you have to figure out how to use that to the greatest effect. In chess, you would think that that's your pieces, but it isn't. Actually, your moves.
Okay.
You get a certain investment of moves, and it is exactly one move per turn. There is no way in chess that you get two moves ever, no matter what you do, right? So that is your resource, and in chess we call that time. When we say time, we're not referring to the clock time usually. We mean a number of moves.
Yeah.
So something that takes a lot of time, meaning it takes a lot of moves. And so what you're doing here by pushing b6 is sort of wasting time. You're passing the move back to your opponent without having accomplished much. So it's like a weak investment, right? But so far, not bad. And then we see your opponent come out. And the difference here is this lets a bishop come out. Okay? That's the redeeming quality of your move b6 is it lets a bishop out.
Okay.
But on your next move, you see e5, which is good because it controls the center. It leaves a square weak. We're not going to talk about that. That's way down the road.
Mm-hmm.
But it does control the center, and it's a good use of time. And right here, bishop g2. When your opponent makes a move, it is your responsibility to figure out why.
Sure.
Well, everything about learning about chess is about retraining your brain to work from your everyday world of. You're familiar with Daniel Kahneman's System 1, System 2 thinking?
I mean, you can summarize.
Okay, so System 1 thinking is very fast. We survey the entire world, we take in a ton of information, and we use like heuristics to process things, like when you drive to a familiar place.
Okay.
That's a ton of things going on in your mind at that time, but you barely notice it because it's automatically processed. You hit the brake, you signal, you know the route. All these things are automatic, and you're occupied by the radio or something. System 2 thinking is slow and deliberate. But the thing about System 2 thinking is that your brain doesn't want to do it. Your brain resists that. It's exhausting, it's hard, it's complicated, and chess is all of those things. So chess practice is not just about learning what is a good move, what is a bad move, and training the patterns. That stuff is important, but what is even more important and what separates really good players from ones who are phoning it in is whether they can train their brain to operate in a more healthy, efficient manner when they're playing. That's what I love about it, and I think, and I've theorized for years, that's what you're going to love about it.
Okay.
Teaching your brain to operate in a different way. So here, when an opponent makes a move, we can't just react with how we feel like reacting. We have to react in a properly controlled manner, and the first thing we do is say, what has changed in the position? So you got to think, I break it down in two ways. What is my opponent or the pieces doing now that it wasn't doing last move? And the reverse. What is it no longer doing? Okay, on the old squares that it was doing before.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, what is the bishop doing now? And you can go and draw, and I will see. But can you show me what that bishop is attacking?
So
now
do I just click? Do I just
before?
click the line? How do I draw?
Yeah, it's a right click.
So right click.
Yeah, just drag. You
Oh,
can
neat.
click and drag. Yeah,
Yeah, well, because we know what's going to
Yeah.
happen. We
Right.
know what's going to happen now.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw it. I don't think I actually saw it at all.
Okay, perfect. So
How do I
this
undo?
is such a common thing that students say. I love that phrase. So I have a lot of mantras when I teach.
There's a lot of
Mantras.
okay.
Sayings, idioms, whatever you want to call them. So my students will always say, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
And my response is always, you didn't look.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So I feel like when we do this, if we have class after class after class, anytime you say, I didn't see that, I'm going to respond because you didn't look.
Right. Yes.
So the first thing we got to train our brain to do is that system two thinking. Don't touch the pieces. Look.
Look.
So what happened here? And what are we going to be looking at? Well, most of it is you need to look at what the bishop does now that it didn't do before.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second thing is what does it no longer do that it used to be doing? And not just the bishop, but all the pieces that move affects. So
yes.
The answer is simply, this pawn is no longer controlled by a bishop. Okay?
Yep.
And the pieces through it are no longer controlled. So what I see is, okay, because the bishop is on this diagonal, this pawn in the front is down one protector. It wasn't protected before, but the bishop could look through a pawn and conceivably defend it, right? So that's what I see. It no longer defends this pawn. What does it do that it didn't do before? It attacks these squares. Not just, don't fast forward to the end. In chess, we have to train ourselves to look at squares. All this empty space is also controlled by that new bishop. So what we would do here is now let's try to apply proper chess thinking. All right. The bishop attacks the rook. We can't allow the bishop, I'll give this one to you today, we cannot allow the bishop to take the rook. That would be a winning position for white, so we must stop this. All right, there are three ways to stop an attack. A, think of it as the barbell method. So a barbell is a weight on one side, a connector, and a weight on another side, right? So we have the weights on the two sides, and we have a bar connecting them. One of those things has to break. So what we can do is we can capture the bishop. That's illegal here. Can't be done. We have no legal move that does that. We can move the rook.
Also not possible.
Also not legal.
Yeah.
Or we can break the connection between the two, break the bar. That's the only thing we can do.
And so, I have two ways to do that, but both are both are bad.
Excellent. However, you have three.
Oh, then what's the third?
Oh, that's your job.
Okay.
All right, students. So first thing, I didn't see that. Okay, I didn't see that there's a third way. Okay, but did you look?
There is a third way. Okay, I do see it. Okay. I sacrificed the E pawn.
The D pawn.
The D pawn.
The E pawn. There are four ways, sir.
Oh, nice. Okay, great.
I missed it. You're right.
Okay. So that's a four. So this is.
What are they?
That's one. That's two. That's three. And I'm trying to figure out four. I don't know that I can see four. The knight.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
There you go. Only one of these moves is any good.
Wait, shit. How do I go back? Oh, fuck. I don't know. Then I'm trying to figure out which. Okay, sorry. Which is the best one of the moves? Is the knight is actually the best move? The one I didn't see.
Okay.
The knight is the best move.
Right. The one you didn't see. So this is a canonical example of beginner chess.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to point out something very, very important here. You didn't see it. When you saw it, you knew it was the best answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't want you telling me that you don't know what you're doing, that you can't do it, that you suck at chess, that you're bad, there's no way to improve, I'm a hopeless cause, because you did see it.
Okay.
And all it took was somebody to come along and say, why don't you look? Let's try looking.
Well, but like, okay, but
and then you will get good.
But the implication is that you existing here allowed me to see it, right? I would never have seen it on my own.
Okay, but in the future, with training, you will hear me in your head, and this is why we do the mantras. I can't come to the board with you and cheat for you, right? And whisper in your ear.
Of course not.
What I can do is train your pattern recognition for when you see this, you hear the phrase I'm always telling you. And I've got tons of them. For example, why would somebody play A4? and I'm not even talking about this position, just anytime I say, why does somebody play A4, your response is going to be because they want to play A5. That's a future lesson, but it's a mantra. So when you hit the board and somebody goes A4, well, that's confusing. Why would anybody play A4? You hear me. Oh, they want to play A5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll cover all of these, and there's 100 of them. But the first one is, I didn't see that. Well, did you look?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm going to teach you the other one right now that I will use constantly, and it's going to sound dumb, but there's a reason behind it.
Okay.
It's this. You need to tell yourself, I can do this, and I will do this.
Mm-hmm.
That is very important. Now, that sounds like a silly motivational, like live, laugh, love kind of, wall.
Oh no, I'm very familiar with how belief affects reality.
Yeah. So the reason we do that is because your system 2 brain is going to be saying, I don't want it. Okay, and it's going to give you all the excuses in the world for why you can't calculate, you can't think ahead, you can't hold the variations in your mind.
Mm.
And it is super, super important for you to get something in your mind that tells your mind to shut up, and you're going to do what Peatman tells you to do, brain.
Sure, I am the one in control.
Right. You are in control of your brain, not the other way around. So that's why we say you can do this, because you're going to get rid of that excuse that, oh, it's too hard, I'm just going to guess.
Okay.
And you will do this. It gets rid of that excuse to just move and select something already. And so in chess, you're going to want to do like you said, oh, there's 2 answers and they're both bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, what happened there psychologically is you stopped. You went halfway and stopped.
Mm. Yeah, that's true.
And so that's what the I will do this is that, we're not going to do that anymore, brain. We aren't going to stop halfway. We're taking this to the end. We're seeing everything, and we're going to be careful. So that's why we're going to train the brain. Now, the other half of chess training is just getting the facts down. What am I trying to do? Why?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's get to that point a little bit. So here you drop a rook.
Yep.
Okay. I want to point out that when you start a new account on Lead Chess, it starts you at 1,500 rating, which is like higher than a lot of people achieve in their lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because they're casual players and don't practice. It's totally doable, but it's kind of like bowling a 200. It's like it takes practice. You actually have to want to do it. So what's going to happen is you're going to lose points as you lose.
Yeah, of course. I'll settle to what my actual rating is.
Yeah, I think your rating's probably going to be about 500 or 600.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have to lose about 8 to 9, 10 games before you hit that number.
Okay.
So I don't want you to get discouraged when you lose your first 10
Yeah,
games.
yeah, no, I follow. I got the sense that, these numbers aren't real numbers.
Right. Yeah, that's why you have a question mark next to your name. What that means is it actually moves. Your movement is being like tripled. So instead of losing 30 points, you lose 90 or so per loss. In fact, your first game you lost 350, which is only possible like when you're new.
Right at the gate.
The system knows you're new, so it's like a divisor thing.
Yeah.
So waiting. So okay, so he took a rook, and you played knight to a6. Okay, good move, bad move. Good move in the sense that you moved a piece. Okay, this is the equivalent of keeping your troops active on your capital, keeping your capital open. What happened here, though, is you moved it to the side of the board. A knight on the side of the board controls 4 squares. Okay? You see that?
Yeah. Okay.
A knight in the center, like this guy, controls 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Twice as many. And there is because it is 8, a knight has a cute little nickname when it reaches the far edge of the board. When it reaches to, I can't draw there, right here on the 6th rank. We call it an octopus because it has 8 tentacles pointing in important directions. So it's a cute little nickname, an octopus. So you have a knight on the edge. A knight on the rim is dim, as they say. We don't like that. So I would have much preferred you to put a piece in the center of the board because that's where we're going to fight. Okay, a3, a wasted move by white, paying you back the favor. This was not a threat. What he wanted to do with a3 is stop your knight from coming in. That wasn't a threat anyway, and he should invite you to do so. He wasted a move stopping you from doing this. So that's his mistake. Good. You were correct to suspect, though, this is a lost position because he has a rook. And he's a rook to the good. He took one, and you can't take one. So, second error. when we move a piece, you've invested time into the knight again, right?
Mm-hmm.
You only get so much time in a game. It's like you just spent troops rolling a bot, okay? Because you spent time on your same piece over again.
I'm trying to
And
get the bishop out of the corner.
okay, yeah, but there's a better way to do that. Let's
Okay.
do this. Now I'm attacking that bishop with a queen.
That is a way better way to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
So I want to play Vampire Chicken. We are almost the same level.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm not sure which one of us is stronger, but I would love to play him in Risk and then Chess and then Risk and then Chess.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the kind of thing we would see is let's actually discover the bishop and then attack the rook. So you put your time into your knight. I want you to think of this as an investment. You invested in the piece, and when he checks you, your king is under attack. So you found the only good move, which is blocking with the bishop, and he actually makes a mistake here and retreats.
Mm-hmm.
He has an extra rook, so he should be in a hurry to start taking pieces off the board so that he has one rook and you have nothing.
Right.
So the trade would have been much better. But all right, and this is finally the another psychological point. This is a pass move. So can you tell me why you play a5 here?
Let's see. Yeah, because I didn't think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
on your video, I think you said on the video you sent me, I think you actually say I have no idea, or you said
I have no
something
idea.
like,
That's
I don't
right.
know.
So I didn't even try to think.
Right.
Yes.
But I get the feeling of being confused and things like that. So here's the thing that got me when I was a little kid. I think I was 7 years old, and I came up with this rule. It says, when in doubt, move a piece forward.
Mm-hmm.
When in doubt, improve a piece. So you did the opposite of that, and there's a very important psychological reason chess players do this. You are sitting there and you're unsure. You know you're worse, in a worse position, which we just say you're worse. And so what you want to do is try not to have to be in the position because it's uncomfortable. And so you want to change it as little as possible. So almost always players who are uncomfortable and confused push A pawns and H pawns. And they do that because they want to try to make it white's turn to think so that they don't have to think anymore. And while really making no decision at all. Okay? When you play A5, you're saying, I want white to move to show me what to do because I'm confused and lost.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to hold initiative anymore.
Right.
Because I've already kind of lost it.
Right. Exactly. So you move to the piece that does the least.
Mm-hmm.
It makes the least change in the position, and it doesn't do a whole lot to move that pawn. So that's why I call it a pass move. It's a psychological fault. So instead, next time when you're confused, I don't want you to reach for the thing that does the least. I want you to reach for the thing that does the most. Do the most you can.
Sure.
So let's go back. There are many right answers here, but I'm not looking for perfect. I just want you to get the right ideas. So let's play a different move. You have this position. It's black to play. You're still confused and lost. Give me something better.
I don't hate F5.
Okay.
Like, it's still protected by the bishop.
It is protected by the bishop. There are strategic reasons we don't want to play F5. That's not important, but the psychology there is much better now.
Okay.
Yeah. So F5 controls the center. It moves a piece forward. It fights for the battle, right? Can you give me another good move?
I wouldn't presume to know good moves. I mean, you put the queen out.
Okay. Sure. Where?
F6?
Okay. F6. You're saying queen f6. Okay, that is a fighting move. Okay, that is something that declares I'm here to fight. I'm here to play the game. This is so much better than a5.
Okay.
A5 says I don't want to do anything, but it's like going to risk and be like, I don't know how to get out of this stalemate. You know what? I'm just going to put my troops back in the box because I don't need them. I'll skip. I'll skip my turn. I don't need my 20 troops.
It's a skip move. Okay.
It's like, why would you do? At least take the 20 troops and do something with, like, put them somewhere.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So here's a good move. Bishop e7. Here's a good move. Knight f6. Okay. So when in doubt, move a piece forward. Develop a piece. We call it development. When you take a piece off the back rank and raise its utility, it's called developing it. So we want to develop a piece. So like knight f6 is the best move here. Okay.
Yeah.
This fights for the center. Okay, it moves a piece forward. It prepares castling. Excellent move here for black. So you played a5, which is a pass, and says, I don't know, man. So he plays knight d5. I feel like this is a bit premature and a mistake too. I would have developed my knight or my bishop. I would have played probably d3, got the bishop out. But okay, you took it. Remember here, you're down material. It's actually white who wants to trade pieces. Black does not. So instead, I would have played knight e6 and tried to jump in later. So okay, we trade. Here you offer a second trade. He declines it, and you insist. Turns out your roles are reversed. He's refusing to do the right thing, and you're making him by trading pieces. You're showing him how to win. This is a future class. And here we get another pass. I don't know. Let me push a pawn that's try to be as far from the center as possible. No. Look, this is undefended. Like at least this.
Okay.
Let's go for something. Let's use what forces we do have. So the end of the game comes pretty quick. We're trading again, and now his pieces are forward. Notice how he's got pieces way far away from his home rank, and all of yours are
trapped.
Classic sign of beginner stuff is you invest all in one piece. That piece disappears. You start with the other piece. That piece disappears. You have nothing left. Your investment has gone to zero.
Yeah.
So, and now we just end the game very quickly. Yep. So this is actually not mate. You would play here. He'd play check. You'd block with the bishop. He would take that, and that's checkmate.
Yeah. And that's why I resigned, because I saw it was inevitable at that point.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're playing somebody much higher rated, so he's going to win that. He's going to see this combination. So, all right, I want to go back, and I want to watch this in fast-forward mode. Watch this. Forget about the rook for a second. Okay, one knight move, two knight moves, one bishop move, three knight moves, and it's gone. Okay, you've played 10 moves. 3 of them are for a piece that's not alive. Okay. Now, you've already moved the bishop once, twice, 3 times, it's gone. Okay? You touched your knight 3 times, you touched your bishop 3 times, and they're both dead. And that is why white is winning here. 12 moves, 6 of them have been invested to pieces that no longer exist. And in the meantime, white has advanced the pawns and won material. So from now on, we're going to move pieces. Oh, and this is another one. Here we go. We already moved this b pawn once, twice, 3 times. It's dead. Okay? Now the rook is able to come in, and this is the reason why you have nothing moved. Everything's dead. So I'm clicking development in the opening. You see chapter 2? Did it automatically do that on your screen?
Yes.
Okay, let me show you what good chess looks like in the opening. This has been done, I don't know, hundreds if not thousands of times by grandmasters and masters. This is just an example random game that I played out. C pawn starts the same way as your game. C pawn, sure, great move. White moves a piece out. Not the same pawn or anything, a piece to the center. So does black. Black declares that I want a knight in the center of the board. White says I want a knight in the center of the board. Okay? Then, just like in your game, white says, I'm going to put the bishop on the long diagonal. Black says, I want a piece. White says, I want a piece. Now they both have 2 pieces in the center of the board. Do you see that? Okay, right? All these squares are being fought over. The bishop fights for the center. The knight fights for the center. The black knight fights for the center. This black knight. The pawn fights in the center. This is in the center. Okay? Everybody's fighting for the center. What you don't see is a3, a6. Okay? Okay, now another piece in the center of the board. Yet another piece that looks through the black knight. If the black knight were to move, it would control a long line. We call this the long diagonal. Okay? Castle. So when in chess we call it the castle, right? You're used to calling it the capital. Okay? And what's rule number 3?
You got to put troops on it.
Okay, look at this. I've got a badass armada guarding the most important person on the board. Okay? He put troops on his capital, and so does black. And now we're in for a long game. Okay, so d4, striking in the center. Here's an interesting thing that beginners don't often know. Pieces see through other pieces. This queen is, in fact, looking at the center of the board. Why? Because as soon as the pawn moves, look at the queen. She's touching the center, right?
Yes.
Okay, so a strike in the center. Okay, we take it. Hey, here's another mantra. C-pawns were forged in the fires of Mount Mordor. Okay? Not Doom, I'm sorry. To do one thing. They're born and bred and have a bloodlust in them for one thing. They are predators and their prey is D-pawns. A C-pawn loves eating a D-pawn. There is rarely an instance in chess where we have this option of C takes D and we don't take it. Okay? Mantra. C-pawns love D-pawns. Okay? C-pawns eat D-pawns. That's what they do. That's what they love to do. It's in their nature. They can't help it. Okay? There are strategic reasons for that. This is an edge. This is closer to an edge. This is a center pawn, but again, unimportant for today. All you got to know is just imitate them. Imitate the masters. C-pawns take D-pawns. I don't know why. I just do it because it's what a master would do. Okay. Okay, central move. This may not look like a center move, but it actually is controlling this square in the center. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, bishop comes out. This is helping develop the bishop. If you look at the back rank, the rooks are usually the last. There's only one minor piece, the bishop, that is undeveloped. So here it comes. Bam. We've developed the bishop. And now we see the entire army developed toward the center of the board.
Why did white back off there?
So white backs off. White doesn't have to back off. A popular move is C takes D6. Something like this. Okay, but then rook B8 attacks this pawn, and these kind of unite here. This is a perfectly common thing to do. I mean, you get a lot of games like this. So it's a complicated line. Apparently, it's called the Mecking variation. I didn't know that, but this would be a common way to go. So the reason white honestly plays knight c2 is because it's helpful for my demonstration.
Yeah.
So I chose it to show you.
Sure.
Okay. But notice that a piece in the center does not control the center. No piece in chess controls the square it sits upon.
Right.
So actually, what looks like a retreat is a move that controls the center because now he actually controls that square.
Okay. Sure.
I'm going to guess this also has something to do with the queen, knight, and bishop uniting on d5.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a plan somewhere someone has ever tried e6, d5. Probably. Okay. So, but this is the point. Look at this display of firepower on the center of the board. How many times has black moved this bishop? Do you remember?
Which one?
The g7 bishop.
Each bishop is moved once.
Each bishop is moved once.
Yeah,
How many times has it moved the knights?
Once.
Okay. How many times does this pawn move?
Once.
All right. And this pawn actually moved twice.
Okay.
But the knight moved twice. So they're actually perfectly tied up as far as tempo goes. So tempo is Italian for time. A lot of chess terms.
Absolutely. Oh no, we use there's good concepts overlap in Risk for tempo, and
Right.
it's a big one in Magic as well.
So queen moves once, bishop moves once. And this is the end of this part of the game. It's a relatively even game. Apparently, this was played in the game Kasparov-Kramnik. I don't know if you recognize either of those two names.
Oh, yeah.
They're world champions, both of them. So this is as high as you could possibly get in chess, right? And I just randomly moved the pieces around, and what do you know? The best players in the world have played this, and all we did was move a piece one time each.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's actually shockingly easy to play like a master. Your game can look nothing like this, but if you follow the right rules, you get a master game. Accidentally.
Sure.
An opponent and I once played a game. We didn't know it, but we played 22 games, 22 moves each that mimicked an exact master game simply because we were just following what rules were. We accidentally reproduced a master game. So it's quite simple. This is controlling the center. That's a quick lesson on controlling the center. It's one of my favorite openings called the Nimzo Indian. Super quick. D4 in stakes claim in the center, controls this square, right? Knight controls the two light squares in the center, E4 and D5. Pawn says, I'm going to control D5. Black says, no, I'm going to control D5 with my pawn. White says, I'm going to control D5 with my knight. The bishop says, I'm going to pin you to the king to make it illegal for you to move. Therefore, you do not control D5. In other words, this bishop, who is a dark square bishop, helps control the light square by canceling this knight. White says, fine, I'm out of pieces to control that. I'll just get my pieces out. Castle. I'm going to control the light square. I'm going to put a bishop on the diagonal to do what? Control the two light squares. There it is. I control the light squares. Castle. I'm going to occupy a light square. Notice the trade here knocks away the ability of the white to control that square. I occupy this. I will attack you on this square. Two attackers, one defender. Black defends it, and in doing so, controls a light square. So this game looks nothing like the one we just looked at.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's on the other side of the board. The pawn moves are completely different. There's no c5. The bishop didn't come this way. It came the other way, right? The white bishop in the last game was on the long diagonal. Now it's here, going the opposite direction. But it's the same concepts. It's move a piece once, perhaps twice, control the center of the board, and put troops on your capital. Okay? So when you play the next game, I want you to do a couple things. I want you to, first of all, look. I don't want to hear I didn't see that, because you need to just look.
Mm-hmm.
Just look and you will see. Seek and you will find. So, and then secondly, when in doubt, don't touch your A pawns or your H pawns. Move a piece. Preferably a knight. Look at, if you have a knight on the back rank, move it forward.
Yeah.
Preferably toward the center. If you have a bishop on the back rank, get it out. Like, use your time to do something. Use your troops. The more you use your troops, the better off you'll be, and you'll find yourself taking material, winning games, or at least not protecting, not losing your own stuff immediately. Mm-hmm. You'll do a lot better. Play at least 3 games.
Sure.
In the next week.
Easy.
I'll take a look. Now, how do we do this? Let's hope that I can. Oh, hey, one of my videos came back. That's good. All right. I think I sent you the link. Are
awesome.
You able to see it?
Let's take a look. All right. Hello.
Excellent.
Yes. So the plan for this, for the rest tutorials, I'm going to try and hide a little Pete here, and also predict how you're going to play it. So let me see if I'm going to put the playback speed up to 2x, and for pauses, I guess just tell you the timestamp.
Yeah, that'll work for me.
Right.
I have the video up separately, so I do talk through my thinking there.
So if you think it's a good idea for me to listen to what you're thinking, we can do that. It's more, I kind of want to rate your play just based on what I think, or not even what I think you should have done, but what I would have done in your seat, right? So if we see the blizzard pattern, we have, actually, here's a great lesson to start. There are 3 really significant blizzards.
Yes.
Which are they?
So, okay, I'm gonna say the Egypt one.
Yep.
The one in the UK.
Yep.
Above London.
Scotland. Yep.
Okay, that pockets the board. Yeah, Scotland. So the other one, I mean, the other one's okay. Probably Rhine.
Right.
The one you're talking about.
Yes, that is what I'm talking about.
Board. So immediately, what I see when I'm going through this is that I've got a 3 point. I've got a 3 on one of the gateways, or whatever you want to call it, 1 point blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't have any material anywhere else. I have Russia, but that's really important.
This seems like a very obvious cap choice for you, right? Whether or not you get neighbor capped, you're almost certainly picking Venice. But before that, I just want to go through the order of operations for cap choice, right? So the number one most important thing you're going to want to do is understand how the board works. So noticing those 3 blizzards, creating the noob corner pocket, creating the separated Scandi pocket, right? So you have 2 open positions. Someone is going to be in both, right? And you're not really in either. So you can kind of write those off, right? And the position you see is I'm going to be Italy into Africa or Italy into the midboard, but that closes off my capital.
Yes. Okay.
and because you're in the second last seat and because there's a 3 there, it's just the most obvious choice. I'm curious to see where other people's go. How many of the other people you see also will kind of determine who's where. How much are you watching who's where when you play? We don't see green. Sorry, we don't see black.
I think pretty. And what timestamp are you at?
I'm just rolling now.
Okay. I think that I'm watching them pretty carefully. I know that yellow is right ahead of me, so that's important. And I think I even make a comment that green has a pretty poor cap choice there.
You don't like green's cap?
Maybe green just didn't have a choice. I don't know. But...
I'm fine with green's cap.
Okay.
So my thinking here is that yellow gave up the pocket Scandi. Okay, yellow would choose to be on the 2 point +4 instead of the guaranteed +3 for the rest of the game. And yellow had that pocket Scandi because they see every territory in it, except for Denmark, I guess. But Denmark is like, the odds of someone capping Denmark on this board are kind of low. I like where you picked. We don't see white, so now we're going to start the first turn. So my prediction for yellow is that they're going to take Dinaric Alps, and that's it.
Okay.
And my prediction for your first turn, they had the hidden stack in Germany. Nice. They have a very strong... And then you say, okay, let's be cool. All right. The thanksing, the excessive communication that I am very responsible for, I'm sure, creating in people. Black rolls, blitzes, 2s. Okay, there's a tell. Let's talk about tells. So we learned something very important about black. He didn't manual that southern Sweden into Denmark, did he? He blitzed that.
Right.
So black is a type of player who is trying to gain advantage by hoping to hold more territory in the open. But in so doing, they exhaust their early 2s. And this is a terrible play that we see a lot of new players make because they end up with fewer positions later on, and you need those exteriors to make kills and ideally, or to just take cards or whatnot. But rather than pick on all of your opponents, Yeah, I mean, Green's cap sucks because
Yeah, I came here to pick on me.
yeah, exactly. Let's pick on you. Let's see what you do. Green's cap sucks obviously because it's a long time for them taking a bonus. So far, Yellow has played their open well. Yellow can hold their foot on the gas, probably take Scandy turn 2, and maintain initiative, try and snowball the game. Green cannot do this. We need to figure out where White and Magenta are. Okay, Magenta puts in France, rolls into the noob corner so we can infer there isn't a cap in London, which is really good to know, and then puts out. So we guess Magenta's cap is in France. Stop before your first turn.
Okay.
Did you see that? Did you see that inference on Magenta's cap?
Yes, I think I say pink goes into the noob corner.
Right, but not only where they are, but where do you think their cap is?
France.
Yeah, I think so too. It might be Gascony, it might be shitty, it might be Marseille, but it's neither London nor Normandy, and those territories are extremely key with this Blizzard configuration. So knowing there's no cap there is very good for us to know. But one thing we don't know that you might have the opportunity to try and know is to roll that one in the top of Spain and see Gascony. Now, okay. I'm actually advocating here doing the thing that I just shat on Black for doing. But there are rolling twos, but there are occasions where getting vision might be extremely useful. These are just like, since we're picking at this, we're going to go into minutia, but I think you're reasonably at this stage. So we're going to run down. We're going to take Italy, and then that's all we're going to do on our turn, right? We're going to leave a 6 on it. Oh, you do that. Oh, you do that. Good for you. Excellent job. Excellent job. You saw it.
So I'm gonna play like dumb. Be like, oh yeah, maybe roll.
No. This is good. This is fantastic. Putting the two troops on there.
For audience awareness, I made Master on classic fixed, and then a lot of season resets. Like I would get knocked back to expert, and then season resets, and I'm a bottom expert. I fell to intermediate, so. So I'm somewhere between intermediate and master, as if that tells you anything.
Well, but I think saying something like you're a master in classic fix tells me more than anything, right? Like a classic fix master is going to be higher rated. A classic fix master should be a grandmaster at this, right? These are easier games, at least as far as the ranking system goes.
I don't know.
No, you don't agree with that?
I don't know if I make mistakes. I know I make mistakes. What I meant is I don't know if me losing games is always due to like what I did or not, or if that was just like the way the dice came up. Like here, I'm forced to cap in Italy. Do I want to be in Italy? Like if I could shuffle the board, probably not. But I have to be. So it's hard for me to tell. Like, is it on me?
Okay. No, that's actually good to point out. I don't know if you consider what you're describing there as luck, right? Is that a luck component of the game?
Like I think even in this game they make a pass mistake. So like I'm not suggesting that like like I get bad dice and things like that.
No. That's and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth either. What I'm saying is that I've said this a lot on the show. There are 4 or 5 different types of luck and risk, right? There's the spawn position, there's the turn order, there's the card luck, there's the dice luck. But then there's also, what do your opponents do that might affect you positively or negatively? Which isn't exactly the same, but we can use the word luck for that as well. And I think that's what you're touching on. It's like sometimes, actually not sometimes, a large percentage of your losses are going to be outside of your control.
Okay.
Which is frustrating. Which is frustrating for Risk, coming from, I guess, from your chess background, right? It's like we really do have to make our and it's also a function of free for all games, not just luck, but a good free for all game has this feature.
Yeah, well, I also play poker and whist. A lot of people don't know that game. And those games are like, because they're luck, like you don't play one game. You just play. You should look at the whole, set of hands that you've played, the whole tournament that you play as a whole. You're not going to win every one, and sometimes you just get a bad beat, but you played your chair correctly. So I'm always kind of like that. Like on poker, you can tell you play 1,000 hands and you know what your percentages are. But in Risk, you play like 10,
Yeah.
So you don't really know. That's a small enough sample set that it could be luck, it could be skill, it could be unluck.
So I'm obviously at the point, right? I have a representative sample in my mind. So I have a
Yeah.
much better sense of when I lose because I got lucky or when I win because I got lucky.
Right.
But this is actually a very good thing to pay attention to and to learn about yourself.
Okay.
Let's see if we can figure out where white is.
Yeah. What timestamp are you at now?
We're now at the end of your first turn, 4 minutes, 33 seconds.
Okay.
And white's turn just begins, and yellow is happy. Yellow is an over emoter. That's a tell. Okay, they take a second +4. White says thanks. Okay, so we actually learn where white is too. Did you get that?
I'm trying to catch up with the time.
So we're now at 5:17, and yellow takes a second +4 adjacent to their capital. Their capital is open up, but not down into you, and not down into white. And I'm almost sure that white has an Africa position based on the thanks, right? They might have Istanbul, but in that case, they wouldn't offer a thanks. They would just sit on their capital and be happy that white can't break them on that line.
Okay. I did not realize that. I think I may have had some awareness. I don't know if I spoke it out loud that white would be somewhere in the southeast. But what you just pointed out is a great lesson for me, is that you don't thank when you have a capital guarding your bonus. You just say, you just
sit there. You just sit there and say, if I want to break you, I can.
Okay.
But also, if I want my cap to be open to the board, I also can. So,
that's an awesome lesson then. That either that he holds something that is not cap guarded.
Yes, there's likely no cap in what is that, Libya, Benghazi, I think is the territory.
I got to tell you, I do not know the name.
It's okay. The territory due south of Greece. We think white probably capped on the pocket Africa, and it's almost a guarantee that his cap faces yours. Right, so he's Kukaracha on you.
Africa and not Istanbul or somewhere deeper into Ankara or something.
Because why would he reciprocate a thanks? Right, the implication of a reciprocated thanks is that yellow takes bonus 2, doesn't break white, says thanks, and white says, "I'm grateful that you didn't break my bonus 1."
Right. So you're saying the cap must be in Africa, and therefore he also holds Istanbul unguarded.
I'm thinking he's not in Istanbul at all. I'm thinking he's in Africa, but there's no must here. This is all what is the likelihood of the communication, right? It's all inference until proven. So, everything you're doing is reading what is the most likely explanation for why players are behaving this way. Okay. And I think that's a really good heuristic if you want to talk about risk. What is the probability of this line of play? And leverage your empathy. What is the probability of my opponent wanting X versus Y? And how can I give it to them such that they give me what I want, right? How can I point them in the direction I want them to go? That's what all this thanksing was about originally, but it's really taken a mind of its own. Okay, black's in the noob corner. And they break magenta, and they find magenta's capital. All right.
So you're on the second black turn?
We're now on green's turn. Yeah, 5 minutes 47. Green is just slow going to take Russia, right?
You're at 547. Okay.
So now magenta's green gets a chip in there too? So on magenta's turn, that's interesting. Okay, so lots of things have happened. I figure for your turn 2, you take Spain. And I figure you take Spain because you saw that magenta got broken. You saw that magenta invested troops in a different exterior position up in Scandi. So, and because they're dealing with someone behind them up in France, there's really they can't afford.
Take Spain. Are you predicting or suggesting?
No, I'm predicting.
You're predicting.
Yeah. If I was you, this would be a very obvious second bonus right now for you. You've already invested material into it. You see that the only guy who could address that has been chipped at and wasted essentially their second turn up in Scandinavia. So Magenta is kind of on the ropes. They can't afford a third front right now.
Okay.
Well, let's see what you. Yeah, let's see what you do. 10 troops. All of it? Yeah, okay. All of it and connect to your capital. And do we find White's cap yet? You're wondering which direction to go. We don't find White's cap yet, but White sees you. Okay, his cap isn't there. Okay, so question. Now I'm looking at then either are they Istanbul and have Africa, or did they cap in a corner?
That's what I was asking earlier. I think I maybe misunderstood you with the territory names.
Yep.
So where White 3 is,
yep.
When you were talking about White's thanksing,
yep.
were you suggesting that perhaps
I expected, if they were good, I expected to see a cap there. But now that they're not there, that tells me a little bit more about them. That tells me maybe they're not very good, and in which case we could be in trouble because he might think of that Africa as his.
Right.
And good. So you pull back to guard Spain, and they indicate that they do have Africa by how much they generate. And now they're taking in Orient? Okay, maybe his cap is Istanbul and he just has both. Interesting. I like your position a lot. The fact that White didn't break you there, you take Africa now. Right? For turn 3.
I believe I agree with you. So I recorded this long enough ago that I don't remember all of the moves that I do. So I am kind of like also playing my chair without knowing what I did.
Okay, so let's do timestamp on Yellow's turn. So Yellow beat the shit out of something.
Yeah.
We don't exactly know, but we got a reaction from White. This is 7 minutes and 50 seconds now.
Theory, because I did not see him come up into Germany or the +8 that he was going into Istanbul and Ankara.
Yeah, but that also tells us that White's cap isn't there. White must have capped in a corner. Yeah, White's not happy. Okay, so now they're at war.
And then Yellow's crying about stuff, and I'm like, Black was moving down in Africa. I don't understand why Yellow.
All right, so we've learned where Black is. I think Black is an Iceland cap. And I think Black is an Iceland cap based on this 10 generation and what we've seen. We've seen Magenta try to go in earlier in the game. We can infer there's no cap in London. And just because of the high frequency of Iceland caps, the next play Black makes is also kind of a tell that they're in Iceland because they have no way to push out from their position. They have the +2 of Iceland, +3 of Great Britain, and then where do you go? They just take a chip in Africa. Now, this is, if I were you here, I would prioritize taking the +6 of Africa because I want to get that guy out of my face. I don't want him adding troops there. And then you can actually, get Black out of there. And then you can also set up an excellent 3-point of your capital. And then on White's 3. White seems to already be at war with Yellow, so we might as well let the weak stay weak. And you don't even have to pressure the Magenta cap. You might be able to steal it. I don't know if you got there yet in your head at this point in the game, but I see your next 2 turns looking like take Africa, sit with a reasonably sized stack on the White 3, follow up turn, take the Magenta cap, and now you're in a 3.2 of which are a capital. Do you like that?
Well, I definitely am salivating at the idea of the pink capital.
Okay.
So I'm not sure though about Yellow. So there's Yellow coming. I don't know what timestamp you're.
Right now I'm at 8 minutes.
Oh, you're at 8 minutes. Okay.
What were you going to say?
On the 10-minute timestamp, you'll see Yellow and White. They have an important turn here.
Oh, we're going forward in time?
Yes, it's a 10-minute timestamp, but
okay. Let me see your third turn before we. Yeah, I understand. I'm on Black's turn 2, or sorry, I'm on Black's turn 3. Black takes in Africa.
Okay.
I wish there was a better way to do it. We can figure this out. Maybe there's a solution that I'm missing. Why is yellow crying?
That's what I said. Why is yellow crying?
Why is yellow crying?
I'm sorry. I keep forgetting you're not watching what I'm watching. So when I'm like, oh, thanksing and crying, and I'm like, you're not even there yet. So.
Okay, so Magenta just took Scandinavia and has 10 troops on their capital. You're about to play your third turn. I predict you take all of the +6 of Africa, and you don't break white. Let's see what you do. Where do you stack? Yeah, you don't break white. Because white has... But you guard against white, and white gives you a thanks. Okay. You push up to your cap. All right. So I actually think I would have played that turn differently.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah.
Also.
So white has already indicated that they are displeased. The frowny face is my least favorite emote because I don't think offering it benefits the person doing so ever. Why would you ever like? And I'm happy to be wrong about this, but I'm fairly adamant about this point. Why would you ever communicate your displeasure in advance? That is just a tell. That's like, now I'm going to hit you. And sometimes you can do that, right? Sometimes I will say, I'm coming for you. But I don't really see a point to tell other people that, especially, right? You know that white's at war with yellow.
Right.
Right? So
yeah,
he can't afford. You have a way better block out in his bonus than you do interior with trust. Right? Why let him have 3 additional troops? Why are we trying to stalemate this game? Right? Okay. We are trying to, well, maybe, look, this is the other thing too, is my bias, I should add this. My bias is to preferentially keep the total number of troops off the board as much as possible so I can steamroll and make the kills. Right? I've played enough of these stalemated games now to know how to play them, and I don't care to if I can avoid it. So I'm looking for opportunities where players have gotten themselves into wars that I'm not involved in, and they just can't afford to retaliate on me. So the slight difference I would have played on this turn is I think I would have broken white, had a light guard in his bonus, and not necessarily fortified back to cap, but fortified to the 3 in Spain with an eye to steal Magenta's capital.
Okay. My thinking was to leave white to fight yellow for a little bit and then get him next. Hey, 1 sec. I'll be right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my idea, I had to do a little household control. So my idea was to let it roll a little bit. The reason I left the 4 behind is a retaliatory guard stack that he could see. That's why I left the 1 at the top, saying like, you could break me if you want, but this is my like retaliation versus like an interior guard in the fog that he wouldn't know was there. So I'm showing him the 4 to say like, this will hit you back. But
that is absolutely correct. I understand what you're trying to communicate to white. You're saying I'm not threatening you on that line.
Yeah.
The problem is that if white is good, he knows that you're inevitably threatening him on that line. Okay. You literally have nowhere to go now, right? So if he's inferring your position, now he might not know that the magenta cap is there, so he might be hopeful you go up through France, but you really only have 2 ways to go. And one of them's a dam.
The Russia stack that he can see.
Yeah, the exterior. Okay. I mean, we'll see. Let's see how it goes from here, because I understand the signaling you're trying to tell him. Now, white breaks the shit. You've given white extra troops, and he uses those troops to break yellow. That's good for you. Yeah,
Which is what you taught me. Troops are good as long as they're used against your opponent.
That's good for you. And then yellow breaks some white, and they're at war still. Now, black has fewer and fewer exteriors, so black's going to be an inevitable problem for magenta. And green's probably still off bonus. On black's turn now, this is 10 minutes and 45 seconds.
Okay. So you see how yellow came through Istanbul, completing our theory that he has the Orient.
Yes. He also started with 7, which I think is just territory. Oh, magenta, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, magenta. Oh, no. Okay. Oh no! I see what's about to happen now. Okay, so
Well,
Magenta.
what's about to happen?
Oh no, that's so dumb! Oh, this guy! Oh, this guy! He steals your Spain, but then he goes back to cap without breaking the other bone. A steal, a set to steal. All right, this guy's a noob. I mean, this is a good thing for you. How would we play this? Okay, so Magenta sets to steal, not recommended. But he doesn't kind of not breaking Africa. What's he thinking? Is he hoping you're gonna accept that? I guess.
Right. I think he does think I'm going to accept that. And I was like, I saw this and I was like, oh, I guess white can get this reprieve. I can delay the decision.
That's right. Magenta has just given you 2 turns worth of deniability where you're still going to generate a bunch and eventually steal his capital. So, yay, Magenta has chosen lowest. Also, I don't recommend, not just for you, but for anyone who ends up watching this, I don't recommend the set and steal because on a break, now Magenta has no threat of retaliation.
Right, because he doesn't have any cards or troops.
That's right.
He got broken both lines. Like, I'm not going to abide that.
No, maybe it was a desperation play.
But also, he's putting me in a box. Like, I don't have anywhere else to go, man.
Ooh, why did you add... Oh, okay. Why did you add so many troops to your capital there?
So, I knew that pink would not be able to come back down. I didn't want to reopen the cap because then it's attrition and then white gets ideas to get squirrely.
Yep.
So I simply break Spain and leave enough behind that I don't need any more there. And so I'm just putting troops on my capital because I have another route to the pink cap.
You're thinking about going around. Okay, so the way I play your turn here is I stack on Rabat, northern Morocco. Okay. I break once. I leave all of those troops there. Right? I put all of my reinforcement on Rabat. I make one up attack. I leave the stack, and I fort more troops to it. I take all the pressure off of white, and this is a line to take the Magenta capital in 2 turns.
Okay, so you think I should just declare war against Magenta right now and just say I'm coming for you, and I don't
care
if you know it.
You did. You broke them.
Right.
Well, they started it. You're in a better position. Yeah. You're in a fundamentally better position to end it. So I'm not trying to work with people that I can just kill. I'm trying to kill them.
How many should I have on Rabat?
Your entire generation. Your cap is fine because because we know where the yellow cap is. So white and yellow are still at war. So you're not facing pressure on your cap line, and you're not facing pressure from white.
1240 or so.
Yeah. Now we're on white's turn, but sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's because they won't have cards for 2 turns. You're at no risk of getting broken on that bottom line, and he won't even be able to take cards on you if you leave a big stack. So you chip. You could have even maybe threatened the retake and sit right there against his cap, and then take it a turn earlier if he rolls you or something. Right? Maybe he rolls troops. Maybe he does something dumb like rolls troops off capital, uses capital troops for a break, and then easy steal.
Well, I remember I wanted inoffensive cards as well. So if I wasn't going to take the pink cap, it doesn't make sense for me to move up now when I could just move up later and have the card if I need it.
For sure. But I think you really do want the pink cap here. I think the pink cap is so good for your game.
Yeah.
Okay, moving forward.
So I'm struggling a bit with the math of it now because I saw how many troops are on his capital, and I'm like, ooh, do I want to take that risk of like rolling the cap, getting a bad roll, and then I don't hold either cap?
Right.
So
sure. Yeah, you don't want to do it too early.
I want the card. I will take the Magenta cap. I just gonna do it when he has 3 cards or something like that, and not open his cap now because why do I want him to get extra troops? When I'm gonna take the cap. I guess there's no fundamental difference between sitting on whatever that is, Gibraltar or something, versus sitting one higher in Madrid.
Mm-hmm. No, not really.
So that's why I just added Madrid. And it gets me on 18 territories. So
yeah, but just imagine if instead of the 6 in Madrid, you took Spain and we're still sitting with
Okay.
More than
Okay.
10
Okay. I get
troops,
the
right?
plus 4.
You
Okay.
know what he has on his cap, right? He's an 11, I think, on his capital. So next turn it's a 16. Is he going to roll 16 v11 to take his second card and then lose his cap? No, he's
Okay.
he's going to chip in France. This is what I'm saying. You can really pressure this guy now.
Well, look at the timestamp 1355 or
Yeah.
1353,
Okay.
and this is where I get confused. You can see it on my face.
Because he holds something. He still has Scandi. Yeah, he has Scandi. You didn't see him
Right.
take Scandi?
I did, and I think I may have
You assumed it was broken.
forgotten it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. So this is here's another level up for you. So the reason I was sure there's a lot of like good sort of process of elimination heuristics, right? Because the bonuses are worth different amounts. Once you
Right.
see a player in a position and you see what they generate, as the game goes on, you've a much better idea of who isn't where, right? So at this point in the game, I know that Magenta has, and what point we are 14 minutes in, okay? I know that Magenta has all of the Scandi pocket. I know Black has all of everything up to London. We can almost infer that Black is probably not very many other places. So we see Magenta is likely in 2 positions.
Mhm.
We understand that White and Yellow are fighting over Africa, Orient, and the middle of the board. We understand that Green is probably already close to a single position. What we don't know yet is where the kills, because there might still be some ancillary material in Orient or Russia, or even like something sneaky like Sevastopol. But the West is mapped.
Right.
I know who's where on the entire, basically everything on the left-hand side of the board. Do you see this?
Yes.
Okay.
I see that the left is, yes. I see where Black is. I know, we still know where Green's capital is. I understand what Yellow is doing, and I know where White is. So I know the South.
Yeah.
I know the Noob Corner, and I think I know the Orient.
You think Orient's been captured by Yellow and then gotten broken?
Well, I forget the troop count, but yes, because I saw him come up, and I remembered the White thing.
You're probably right. Where's White's capital?
Right.
In the corner, isn't it?
I know where it is now. Because
Yeah. Okay. Don't tell me. I want to see if I get it before we see it.
Where do you think it is?
I think it's in the corner, or it's one over. Okay, so it's in Africa. It's very near your bonus. Like you might be able to break one and then not go any further.
Okay.
Yeah, or it's shitty and it's in the corner. I don't know where else it could be.
So
Based
I am
on
at
this.
14. I'm at the timestamp almost 15 minutes.
Well, I want to see your turn 5.
Okay.
Let's go to 14-14. So you're getting 18 troops to start. I think I make the same play this turn that I kind of advocated you do last turn. Take Spain,
Okay.
press the cap.
Mhm.
You have 20 on your cap now. Your cap is great. You could probably take Magenta out of that position completely this turn.
Okay.
But then he'd still have that northern pocket, so you'd miss the kill. 18 on his cap. Yeah. You open it.
Yeah, and I put a 1 on the 5. I make the 4 into a 5. I think I say something like I'm lulling White
Yeah.
into a false sense of security. I just want to get him used to me putting 1 there every turn so that he doesn't realize that. Boom,
Oh, don't do that. Oh, don't do that. Okay. I really strongly advocate against that. So
Okay. You think I'm telling him I'm coming?
why start a Cold War?
Okay.
He's been cool with you. You didn't
Yeah.
break him. So in his mind, he's busy. He is at war with Yellow. Adding any troops there, I don't like.
Encourages him to come. Okay.
Let him break you, right? And then retaliate. I'm obvious when I'm aggressive, and the rest of the time there's zero. I'm the nicest guy you ever met, right? Until you come at me, and then I retaliate with so much force that like you'll know why you shouldn't have done that. That's kind of my mentality, but I dislike this. So if I'm White in this situation, I might be incensed by even the 1. Right? You don't know who you're playing against, and you don't know how crazy they are. So you wanted to go to 15 something?
Well, mine is at 16 minutes. Not a whole lot has happened. Black has taken their sweet time.
Yeah,
turn.
we're stabilizing
I'm on Black
now.
16 minutes.
Okay, fast to 16 minutes. And we'll just continue from there. I'll try not to
I do
pause as
recall
much.
that I'm not taking Spain because I want cards without having to do anything to anybody.
Okay, so you're already kind of allowing this game to slow down, even though you're the one who's getting the most.
Okay.
Here, pause. So this is another principle that I notice, and this is we're at 1645. I think this this will level up your games here, is knowing when you're the one to push.
Okay.
So do the players or the settings cause the stalemate, right? Is such a debate we've heard for years.
Yeah.
Reality is it's a little bit of both, and it depends. I play with a style now that very, very rarely stalemates, but that's because I'm willing to do crazy suicidal shit, right? I'm willing to risk my game to make it not do so. In your situation here, you don't have that risk. You are in a dominant open, right? You're in a corner of the map that's generating you a ton of troops, but you're being, in my opinion, a bit overly cautious.
Okay.
Instead of just stepping on Magenta's neck, you've kind of allowed them to stabilize on your border with a cap, and they've already shown willingness to break you. So this will be very risky for you if they happen to get a set on 3.
Okay.
Let's go to your turn 6. I'm wondering if Magenta breaks you in the interim. I don't think they do.
I think rolled out his troops against my 9.
No, he doesn't. This guy sucks. Take his capital.
Okay, I'm getting plus 18 on my turn. I'm at timestamp 1724. I get the 30 troops.
Okay, you take his cap here. You must.
But I don't have. With what army? I only have 39 to roll a 23.
I guess. So this is, I guess this is my point, right? The ratios are very close. And if we had, as soon as Magenta set, if we had gone at that cap with the objective of taking it before they would get to 3, I think we'd have it already. Just a little bit more pressure. But that's okay. We're still in a good spot, right? You have a huge open capital. But I think having those 2 caps, you have a 3-point on what, plus 20, 2 of which are caps. That is a really, really dominant position. And then you just hunt for kills and you let the board fall like dominoes. Okay. That's how I play your open. Right? You let these guys fight.
I guess I was too passive here. I just never felt like I had the troops to take any caps without just dying in the next turn.
Right on.
Yellow would follow, and I mean, so
I think the relationships you've built with white and yellow here are pretty solid, right? Other than the fact that you chose to start hard guarding against white when they really showed you no aggression.
Yellow's like my ride or die, right? I mean, yellow and we have an agreement.
Yep.
Okay. I just want that on record.
It looks like, yeah.
I'm sure that has nothing to do with anything later in this video. I probably just said that randomly for no reason.
Oh yeah? Is this the tell? Okay, so we got more info here. We got Magenta's turn.
Yeah.
Starts with 5 now. So they've lost the Scandi position. What do you suppose the odds are that we can kill this guy?
Fairly good.
Right.
I need a few more troops though.
No, your cap connects. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 to hit the cap. Your cap is open to theirs. Oh shit! Did I just reset? Hold on. We are at.
Well, I'm at timestamp 20.
Thank you. I don't know. The problem is I don't know if they've been cleaned out of Scandi or if they were broken. But at this position, 20 minutes, 8 seconds, putting 22 on your capital. I'm the type of guy. I'm the type of guy that goes for the Magenta kill. I am. And what I would do is, I think the way I play this is I add everything to the 52. I hook around, see if they're there. or if they're anywhere else, and then fort the 12. Now, this is a riskier play than you're probably comfortable making, and that's fine. Because there's a high likelihood that we miss this kill. Maybe, you know what you also might do? Maybe add like 10 troops to the 7 and go up and check. I don't hate that either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, go up and see if he's in there. Like, hunting kills is... Yeah. It's also... You're not going to get a set... Or, sorry, you are going to get a set from this. Hunting kills
and
here
so
is...
you're timestamp 20?
Timestamp 20.
You're on my turn?
Yeah, I'm on the very beginning of your turn. I think one of the ways that we're going to advance the game state, particularly as the strongest player who's getting 22, is we don't want the sets to get away from us. Right? We don't want everyone to be putting sets on their capitals because that's going to lock this game up and it's going to make this game take way longer. You're still in a position here where you can end this game quickly if you're aggressive, and you just need to know who to kill and when. I think we know where magenta and black are. And I think this board falls like dominoes if we manage to kill magenta and then ideally kill black. But let's see. Let's see what you do. I'm curious how you play this. Where's your card? Your card's up in Russia? You're going to let magenta hold France, right?
Yeah, because I think black won't.
Black won't. Yeah, I agree.
Black will do the dirty work.
Okay, so then maybe now is our time to start developing that 7, right? Yes, you do. Good. Go up around. Good. And green took it. Yeah, so you had the magenta kill. Awesome. Why did you hit that stack though? Because you figured green would be pissed off at you, so you wanted to have less troops. Yeah,
because green was getting a lot, I was thinking.
Okay, so we had the magenta kill.
Yellow and green, I thought were fighting, and so I was helping yellow because and I feel like magenta is not. I'm not able to take magenta yet. You're saying I had to kill, and I would have loved to have the kill. I just didn't believe that I did.
Okay.
Because I don't think I have enough to roll. I needed 50 to take the 25, and then I failed the kill or something. But like I knew that. I was thinking black would hit magenta, so it was my turn to help on the other side of the board. And besides, green has not been taking a bonus.
Yeah, that was green's first bonus. He's not going to be happy that you stole it from him.
But I was fine with that because like I'm good with yellow, I'm good with white, and magenta and I want to kill him, but I can't, so he's my friend, right? Like if I could beat him, I would, but that's later. I thought so.
Okay, so the psychology makes sense, but I think the position, the positionality of that doesn't. So you're next to magenta. They've already attempted to steal a bonus, right?
Right.
Who are they gonna hit? You were black.
Right.
You're hoping magenta goes to war with black. I'm hoping I get 7 cards and then have half the board, and then kill the other guys.
So I'm at black's turn on minute 22.
Let's go.
Okay.
Black's turn, minute 22, and black decides to hunt for that pocket as well. Everyone wants to be up there. Okay.
Yeah, you see my face. I go, what? Why?
Why? He wants a bonus. Black's been desperate to...
I was like, what did I ever do to you?
You didn't. No, that has nothing to do with you. That has to do with the fact that his cap sucks and he can't get cards if he's card block. He's a 1-point card block. That's what that... He's like, oh shit, I capped Iceland and now I'm fucked. Okay, so now magenta has too many troops on their cap.
Yeah, green does what they can. Pink gets a +5.
Okay, and you remove black. So you're forcing black into magenta with this play. I like it.
Black.
Yeah, you remove black from the top line. Oh, white's lost their capital. All right. Do you kill white? Do you go hunting? Does yellow kill white this turn?
I think you saying that is the first time I realized that white lost the capital.
I think that's the first time. I think white did lose their capital for the first time here.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, even though I've watched this video a couple times, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't even see it. Okay, well, that's a very key thing to notice.
So you saw the cap switch, or did you see something else?
Actually, white got their cap back. Yeah, white got their cap.
How do you know that white lost the cap and got it back?
So when you start, okay, so let's go to the end of your 4th turn. End of your 4th turn, 23-34. You steal black's Scandi that he stole from you. You re-steal. And now White's turn begins. White starts with 3 troops.
Oh.
At 23:48, White starts with 3 troops. And I will be the first to say the leader, the cap leader thing, is in a very awful place. And it should be, because we still don't know where White's cap is, and we both missed when it was taken, right? Even on this replay.
White traded, so.
Okay.
Like that. So he must be going into.
He trades to get his cap back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see it switch back to 1. All right, so that kill's probably not on the table.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
So I missed fireworks, and then they were over before I even saw it. But okay.
Well, they're not though, because yellow's still at war with white.
So black breaks. I'm at 25. Black breaks my Germany. Green hits me. Takes his new cornerback, which I deserved. Yeah. I was like, okay, I deserved that. I was going for, I was trying to be courageous and missed it.
Okay.
So now it's like, yeah, we're in this stalemate.
Yeah, I was going to say, now that we hit 26 minutes on the clock, we've reached a point in the game where, unfortunately, everyone is still alive. And that's going to make the sets increase very quickly. It's going to make kills negative. I think the biggest feature about this open is that nobody was aggressive enough. Players were hitting each other. They were getting into wars, but they weren't using their troops to make kills when they could. And
the next really happens is at 29 and 10 seconds.
All right, fast forward to 29:10. Magenta went all in on a kill, and then you kill them. Who did they go all in on? Black? Did you kill both?
Well, not exactly. No, Magenta did not go all in on a kill. Magenta fortifies off cap.
Why?
I'm sorry. I should have said 29 and 0 seconds, but yeah, they just go direct. They just take a card and then they just fortify off cap.
Why?
Either they're done with the game, or they know they're getting hit, and he says thanks to me.
He wanted that to happen?
What's that?
He wanted that to happen.
I think he's saying, don't hit my cap and leave me alive, please.
Which you absolutely say no to.
Well, yeah. Well, he only has 1 card and it's 50 troops, so I'm not going to kill him anyway.
Why not? Oh, you're going to wait till he's on 3.
Well, I mean, what good does that do me? Like, why would I...
Sure.
Why would I fight? Why would I kill 50 troops?
Why would he step off, though?
And close my cap? Because I was going to hit him anyway.
Ah.
It was time for him to die, and I had 4 cards.
So what's he doing? Skipping for placement in Marseille?
I think so.
Okay. I've played against this guy.
Oh,
Otho Bourgeois from Montenegro. I've definitely played against Magenta. Yeah. I recognize the name and the flag. So right now he's beating on green. This is 32 minutes 20. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he is done with the game.
Yeah.
You retaliate on white, but you let him hold. You kill Magenta on 2 cards? I hope you do. You broke everybody. Yeah. We find the white cap, and the white cap is there. So why would white thinks... All right, so I want to pause at 33:12.
Okay. I've been informed.
Yes, it's time to go? All right, no worries.
No, it's not time to go, but...
Yeah, let me know. We can dig into this as much as you'd like. I appreciate your help, and I'm having fun doing this as well. So
yeah, I'm really enjoying this.
Excellent.
I hope you enjoyed the chess, and hope you find joy out of that as well.
Oh yeah, man. I'll keep at it.
So we do hit white a lot.
Yeah.
And then we're kind of at war with black. Let me see if I can find a good timestamp for what happens next. Yeah, I jockey with white for a little bit, and then we really start to get to the war around, let's see here, 50 minutes.
50. 5-0.
Yeah,
Okay.
or 49.50 if you prefer.
Jumping ahead, you're about to roll 300 troops into green. You're killing black. Excellent. Black dies. Good job. And you get a reasonably good job, reasonably good kill. Good roll on the black cap, and as predicted, the black cap is Ireland. So yeah, we now have all the capitals, and I'm surprised. White was probably thanking yellow for Istanbul. White probably wanted, because that was their natural expansion, and instead they fought a war of attrition. And you didn't break them, so you allowed them to hold +3, which allowed them to stay alive. Right? If you had broken when I said, instead of trying to friend guard, yellow would have won the war, and then there would have been one less player in this game.
Okay. And so after I kill black, yellow says, "Oh, that's for me."
Yep, takes the cap.
He takes he takes that cap, and then green goes into me around 52 minutes.
Okay, interesting play. Yellow doesn't take Iceland. He wants to trade with you back there, or at least have the option to.
He's still guarding me.
Yeah. All of those things are possible. Oh fuck! Okay, green really goes in too hard. Okay. All right. So now our position sucks.
Right.
What do you do about that? You take it back. You take the second. You take the gasking cap back. And we have our 3-point. And we can chill on our 3-point for a while. Trust on white. We know where the white cap is. And we're also at the stage of the game now where we can trade between you and on those two caps and white's capital. You have infinite trading.
I would love to, except he wants to take the bonus back, and then he wants to keep it.
Well, that's fine. No, he can trade in your bonus. It doesn't matter, right? What's the set now? You guys have a locked pocket.
Like 100.
You and white have a locked pocket. You and yellow have a locked pocket. This is actually a wonderful position to be in. You have no need to incentivize progression because you have options to trade with two different people.
Okay. So I have about an hour in, 60 minutes in, I'm actually guarding against white, and maybe that was a mistake, but like I could have attacked white and gave him his. So I'm picking fights almost with everybody. I'm fishing around for an ally here because nobody seem to want to be my ally. So I'm like, okay, well, how about yellow? How about green? How about white here? And like nobody wants to seem to work with me.
White doesn't trust you,
right?
And that goes back to you guarding against him in the earlier game, right? You showed him that you don't trust him.
Okay.
So
and I'm guarding against him in this end game too. And I'm thinking maybe that's
the answer to your question here is why won't anybody trust me? Because you didn't trust them first. And it's really simple to say, and it's way harder to implement in time. But often you have to be willing to risk getting broken in order to show someone that trust. But once it's built, as long as you never break it, you can go to the end with someone. In this game, it seems like you have your best relationship with yellow. So I'm curious how the rest of the game goes. Like, do you have a good spot to jump to now?
How about 63 minutes?
63. What happens at 63? 4 players still alive. We're good on 2 caps. Yellow took a garbage capital. Is green strong?
I think green is pretty strong. And also by this point I realize they're good players. Like they're capricious, you know? They're here for placement, they're not here for friends.
Okay.
And so everybody on this board is like means it. They're playing for wins.
Yeah, because they wouldn't have stuck around for an hour either.
Right.
It's rare, man, that I've been in this situation for a long time. Like I don't. Ooh. Oh, we're hitting off cap stacks. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You delete what? 150 troops of green?
Okay. Yeah. Do you like it or not? Well, I want you to understand this is a card block.
On
I'm
who?
breaking the card block.
He's trying to block you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you have a bunch of no, I don't think he was trying to block you. I think he was trying to take fucking Germany.
I don't think that's. No, I
You've
think that's
you've three cap cards plus a line on white that he doesn't see, plus a potential in Iceland.
Yeah,
And
he
you could,
wants me to take my cap cards. I mean, he's working on the block.
yeah, but you're nowhere close to that, because all you need to do is like roll a 1 or a 2 into the 100 cap, and yellow will start trading with you up there. Don't you think? Or down in the bottom of the map with white. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing is I would love to. So white hits me
Yeah.
at 64 minutes.
Yeah.
And just wants to sit there. And I'm wondering if he does want to trade with me behind me, but I'm like, let's trade in your bonus, not mine, because I'm using troops to fight up top. But
bonuses don't matter so much anymore. Cards
right.
cards have become
So
the thing that
here's my
matters.
issue. Because of the weird blizzard configuration, if I hit anything in France, my cap is locked, basically.
Sure.
Because I can't get out to the green side of the board.
Yeah, the Gascony
So
cap is less good now.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to see at what point.
You're anticipating being blocked, but green's just giving you more cards. Green just gave you another cap card at an hour and 7.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like he's trying to block you at all.
So at an hour 16.
Yep.
Or hour 16 and 30 seconds or something, I decide that I want to remove green at the cost of locking my cap.
Okay.
I want to remove green so that he has to go through yellow. And I don't know if that's a good idea.
Remove green so he has to go through yellow. I don't know what green wants.
What's that?
I don't know what green wants. Like, okay, so let's...
Green wants to work with yellow to beat me.
Okay, so yellow's flipped on you.
Yes.
So then you have then you take cards on white.
I think that yellow is just trying to win. So I don't think yellow cares. I don't think yellow is thinking of it like flipping or whatever or owing me anything. I think that yellow is just like, yes, let anybody fight as long as it isn't me.
That's true. He's watching you hit off-cap stacks, and he's thinking, red has it out for green. I'm going to let this war continue because it's net benefit to me. Plus, my cap is better, right? Now, red's caps are locked. I have an ancillary cap with 2 cap cards. I should be fine. I like how yellow's thinking, and I think yellow wins this game. Am I right?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But watch, if you want to see something crazy here.
Let's do it.
Go to 119 and let's see. I think I made a mistake at 118 and 47 seconds. 118, 47.
What might that mistake be? We're putting 33 troops and a huge set. We try to block yellow? No. We're sending 100 troops into the fray. Why?
I don't want green coming through that. I am guarding.
Oh, we're blocking. We're blocking. Here. Okay.
And then you'll see what happens after my turn. White takes a card somewhere that I can't see. Yellow takes a card, and then at 120 flat.
Mm-hmm. Here we are.
We see some true colors here. So
oh boy!
I force green into yellow. Oh no!
And he gets Gascony as well. He does. Okay, green wants to lose this game with you. Green wants to take you with him. Do you have a set?
I don't remember.
On 3? If you have a set on 3, you kill green. And you go into the 3 player. At this point. Because this man's on 5. If you have a set, you kill him. Oh, you just rebuild. Okay. Ooh. Right, because that was a suicidal play by...
If I kill green, though, then I'm next to die immediately.
It looks like you're next to die anyways, so it's better to secure the placement.
Okay.
right? If this man's willing to go that was a terrible move for him, right? That was a suicidal move to get you to die. I
Right,
think
but
what
I'm like,
happened,
then Yellow kill him. I don't need to kill him. Yellow kill him.
but Yellow won't, because Yellow's being an opportunist and they're letting your war continue, and it has been. I think this makes sense to me. This is the natural escalation of a deterioration in your relationship with Green over multiple turns. You hit off cap stacks, he hit off cap stacks, he hits your cap, you take it back, he hits it again, you take it back again. Right? You guys are fucked now. You guys are going to kill each other.
Right.
It's a fight
Well,
for third, I think.
So Yellow, if you notice, White is now gone.
White spotted?
White went MIA at like 1-23.
Oh, are you playing neutral bot?
Yes.
Ah, you're playing neutral bot. Oh, interesting. Okay. White's gone. Yes. Sure. So it's now a fight for second.
Yes.
And there is 20 minutes more left in this game. Okay. So that's nice that White locked in fourth.
You can watch it at like really super high speed, but if you go to like 128
yep.
in 30 seconds, you see my turn. Basically, it's you see all the caps, and so you know the sitch. And I don't see an avenue by which I can do anything here. I take board, which is kind of weird, but I'm basically just trying to say, like, I want to exist at exterior. If you notice, I'm basically card blocked.
And Yellow says no. Yeah. You have a single card. Yeah.
And his cap, the Yellow cap, is twice my size. So if I step out,
yeah, Yellow now holds the balance of power, and he's decided that he's going to card block you.
Yeah, and he decides that Green wins because he knocks me out.
Well,
again,
let's talk about options. Let's talk about options. So 1 minute, 29 seconds. You said to both of these guys, hey, I'd like some cards. And they both said no. Mm-hmm. Green because he hates you, and Yellow because he's playing to win.
Yes.
How do you flip this?
That's what I say over and over for about 20 minutes in the video.
How do I get out of this?
How do I get out of this? I can't find an ally. I consider turtling, but then I have no cards. I take that 12 at a judicious point, like 1 minute 31 seconds or so. I take the white card, and I'm card blocked on the bottom line. I'm holding a joker, I believe.
I have a crazy idea.
Okay, here's a crazy idea that I tried. Is it 132?
Yep.
I say, fine, Green, forgive me, and I bash Yellow's face in. Well, not really. I bash Yellow in the sense that I'm just trying to attack, to break Yellow's bonuses, to show Green some loyalty. He does not take it. He says, that's funny, thank you. No. And these guys are fist bumping each other.
Yeah, so you know you're fucked.
Yeah, basically I'm like, I think I am.
Yeah.
So I actually, what you don't know, and you say the game lasts 20 more minutes. No, the video lasts 20 more minutes. I cut the video because I say nothing's going to change. We play for probably 40 more minutes. I get chased around the board. I end up dying in that 250 Yellow cap.
Oh, okay.
They trade behind me. They block me
Yeah,
out. And they do like they do that step, that card block where you walk in from far away, one card at a time, slowly doing it.
Sure.
And they let me like take my cards in France and then know that I'm out. I'm dry. So like they don't even like really like do that brute force card block, big stack in your face. They do that kind where it's like stacks far away, you fill in the middle one at a time.
Yep. They reverse you.
Like, yeah, I mean, sort of. Yeah, it's a small area, like I fill up France.
Okay, so let's go back to, where was it, where you made that run? An hour and 32 is when you ran around?
Yep.
Okay, something like this. So you have 670 troops in Romania.
Yes.
Okay. This is a lost game, right? You know you've lost. They're working against you. What are your other options, right? What is the fourth move that you didn't see here? I'm curious if you can think about it.
I can sue out for second.
I don't think you can. I think you sue out, you get third. Right, you don't have the troops. So this is a crazy low odds line, But if you've already lost, why not try it? Sit in Romania with 670 troops and fortify your 418 to it. You now have 1,000 stack.
Yeah.
1,000 stack can insist on cards. And in the worst case, you end up where you were anyways.
Third place, right?
Third place.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, I think, okay, I see what you're saying. I have to do that on that turn because after I step out with the 645.
Yeah, that's it. Your caps are gone. Yeah, no more cap cards. Yeah.
Okay, so what you're saying is when you have your last and final cap card, go to 1 cap.
If you have the troops, right? If you've tried everything, if you're sure you're gonna lose, the only way you can insist on cards is by making yourself so large that they're just not willing to hit you.
Okay. Because what I think I went for on this play was try to get green on my team.
Yeah, but that wasn't going to happen, right?
Well, I didn't. I mean, like you're saying, it's low probability. It's like low probability versus low probability.
Right. Yeah, fully. Yeah. No, I think the lessons from this game in kind of summation. So how do you actually die? You just get card blocked and then eventually eaten?
I run around the world losing troops, and then they put me I get like 250 in Iceland Cup because they chased me there, and then I end up filling up France. But that's insignificant. Like it's just not enough.
You even have a Joker, but they never give you another card.
Yeah, it's something like, I mean, I get cards, but like they also get cards, and it's just not even. Okay. They do exactly what they're supposed to do, which is run me dry. They run me down. They like just tire me out in the sense of like I have to use big stacks to take a card, and then basically I think one of them sits on my capital in Gascony, and the other one sits in Thermopylae, which is what I'm calling that middle blizzard.
Yes. The Venice cap. Yeah,
the hot gate there. So they sit there and they fill up France with my final cards, and then it doesn't matter. They kill me, and then I think one of them takes second on purpose. I forget which one.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you skip to the end, I splice in the ranks.
And we have Master in yellow, Novice in black, Beginner in magenta, Master in green, and white is not great, right? Okay, but not great. They could be middling. They could be like intermediate, or let me see if you Master in white as well. Okay, wow, look at that.
And I think I say in there, I'm like, well, I lost the 2 masters. They work well together, but hey, at least I beat that guy. So I love what you're saying. I've learned a lot about this. Basically, I should have stood on White's neck a little bit earlier because I can.
And magenta.
He knows I'm the enemy. I'm happy to have beat him anyway. He got card blocked on the other side as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was card blocking him in the bottom, and yellow was too. And that's why I thought yellow was my friend, man. Come on, yellow. But no, yellow was just like.
Yeah, it was playing to win the whole time. Yeah,
exactly.
I saw the deterioration in your relationship with green, and then yellow held the balance of power and chose green because he saw green as being harder to card block because his cap was better. I think.
Yeah, he's on the outside.
His cap was better for a long game. Your cap was way better for snowball.
Okay.
But then,
that's good to know.
Yeah. Right, you want a pocket cap, and you actually had 2 out of 3 positions on a pocket. If you had ended up with White's capital, right? If you had allowed the white yellow war to go to attrition and somehow managed to steal the white capital and the magenta capital, right, early enough, that's the type of position I like.
Do you feel like if you had played this game from my seat about say 10 minutes in, would you have won?
I would have dealt with magenta quicker.
Okay.
So what would have happened to me, I think, on that game was I would have let the white and yellow war go badly for white.
Okay.
I would have dealt with magenta, probably killed black, and then unfortunately been in a 3-player situation with yellow and green, who are both masters. So you might not have won. You might have still ended up in that 3-player scenario. But it would have happened earlier, and You might have been strong enough to haymaker one of the guys and go into an advantageous 1v1.
Okay. So basically, like, I could have at least taken second just by haymakering somebody.
Hopefully. There's too many ifs on that question, right? Like,
okay.
As far as like what I saw versus what you did, I would have played your seat 20% more aggressively on my neighbors.
Okay.
Because you were the one in initiative. You were the one getting the most. You were the one hardest to break. So a more effective use of those early troops could have eliminated players sooner and made the board matter more for the outcome.
Okay.
As opposed to what ended up happening was the cards ended up mattering and your position ended up being, bad, actually, long term.
I have to take more risk.
Well, just notice what your caps do.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even say take more risks, right? I think you can play aggressively without playing overly risky. So I don't think the multi-turn line to steal the magenta cap was all that risky at all, and it would have accidentally led you to their kill because they did get cleaned out of the top. So that's not a risky play. That pays for itself almost immediately.
Okay.
Unless you get the worst dice in the world.
Right.
Right? Which you probably won't.
Right.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Okay. That's something to take forward in the next game. I'm definitely going to be able to do more, not waiting to see where caps are. I didn't realize that you could. I'm impressed by your ability to deduce the cap just based off the thanks. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So that's a really
good but I was wrong.
Well, I mean, no, you knew and you understood that. Okay, yeah, but the substance of it was still correct that he's unguarded on a border.
Well, he was hoping to take. He was hoping that Yellow would give him Orient, and Yellow said, "No, you go to Africa." Yellow kind of was the mastermind this game, right? You saw Yellow knew where you were, so he wanted White to fight you.
Right.
Yeah. No, it was a good game, man.
Green, whose cap I criticized at the beginning, and he turned out to be a master, but
Oh, I think he played
badly. I feel
badly,
like I'm a temporarily embarrassed master, right? Like.
No, I think Green played badly.
Okay.
I think Green played badly. They weren't trying to card block you all that well. They were trying to take board with off cap stacks, and you hit them, and you escalated, and he escalated, and then you escalated, and then you guys both ended up losing the game. We see that a ton. And Yellow just all Yellow had to do was be patient.
Right.
And play properly.
Well, I really appreciate your thoughts on this.
Same to you.
I had a lot of fun.
Yes.
I love talking theory. I love reviewing stuff. I hope that the chess lesson is useful, and I hope that you're able to find some joy in playing a new game.
I will.
Remember, one of my other sayings is that chess is a game, and games should be fun.
Absolutely.
So I hope you do get some sort of intellectual stimulation out of that. And I can't wait to see what you do next week. Yeah,
well, let's keep this going. When are you available next?
I mean, typically this time. So
yeah, you want to do a Saturday morning thing?
One or the other days. Yeah, Sundays are typically a little bit easier, but it just depends.
No, that's fine with me. And
I love learning stuff. Maybe even read.
I wonder how I publish this. Maybe I'll just do it like I do with everything and just post it and see if there's a response. But
well, you gotta chop. You gotta. It's 2 hours long. You gotta cut something.
You think?
Well, this part.
All right, I'll see how it goes. But thank you. How should I call? Like you didn't actually introduce yourself. Should I call you Phoenix?
Yeah.
Go by Phoenix. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this was a first chess and risk lesson. Thank you to Phoenix. Yeah. Hope you all enjoyed. I definitely did. And very much looking forward to more.
Okay. I'll see you next time.
Enjoy
Bye.
the rest of your day.